All right, so as we finish up here at the end of the chapter, we see non-negative species interactions. Sometimes this is called symbiosis. In the case of mutualism, this is where we have an interaction where both species benefit. So here, and often we see these in insect and plant species, or plant species and bird species. So in this case, we have the plant. The nectar is being eaten by the or collected by the insect, and the insect in turn pollinates the plant. We see this a lot of times in bird species also, but in both cases, both of these species are going to benefit. In something like commensalism, we have an interaction where one species benefits and the other one is neither benefited nor harmed. So in the case of the water buffalo and the crane is getting a free meal by riding around on the back of the water buffalo, and it's eating the insects off of him, and the water buffalo is neither harmed nor benefited. Nothing really happens to him, but the crane definitely has a positive interaction. So then getting to the end of the chapter, we've looked at ecosystems and populations and individual species. Now we get to communities which can change or which can remain stable over time. We see in this something called succession. Because, like I said, the Earth never stops changing, we may see a barren swatch of land, maybe something just produced by lava flowing out of a volcano, or an underwater volcano peering up over the ocean top, or by a forest fire. The first species that are going to come and colonize the area are called the colonizing community. Those are the first arrivals to a lifeless and soilless area. They're good dispersers but poor competitors. So fungi, bacteria, lichens, seeds, that's often the first thing that we find in a barren community. The next thing that we see is things like mosses that begin to grow and trap moisture, allows other seeds and plants to germinate. Finally, small herbs and shrubs grow, grasses. This is called secondary succession, where we have communities that are starting to develop and may eventually start to support animal species. And in a climax community, we have small trees that initially grow, and eventually the larger hardwood trees are going to be in the area for a longer period of time and become a self-sustaining community. So you can see by going out and exploring the Earth around us that we have some variation of this between lifeless, soilless rock and the tall, faster-growing trees that are in established communities. So there's always some form of disturbance going on in the environment, and you can see a fluctuation between these different types of communities over a period of time. We see this not only happening on the land, we see this happening in the water too. One of the interesting notes is the keystone species. A keystone species, like a sea star, has unusually large influence on the presence of or absence of numerous other species in a community. When sea stars were removed from an area within an intertidal zone, species diversity drastically decreased. So sometimes it's important to identify keystone species that allow communities to be successful, or to have multiple other types of species there, because keystone species are going to help to keep diversity, which is something that is very important. So that's the end of this PowerPoint. That's the end of the videos and the end of Chapter 15. In class next time, we'll look at Chapter 16, and then we're going to be close to being